Ready? We're going to call February 19th, Miami City Council meeting to order. There's no changes to the agenda. Need to approve it. Approve the agenda, please.
Make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
Got a motion second, in discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Item 3, approved consent agenda. A, approved minutes of the February 5th, 2014 council meeting. Item B, approved Class C beer permit for Dollar General store, that's a new permit. Item C, approved Class E liquor license Walmart. Item D, mayor recommends making the following reappointments. Reappoint Mark Smith to the Airport Commission. Reappoint Dave Knudsen to the Board of Adjustments. Reappoint Dick Cyber to the Board of Adjustments. And reappoint Kevin Waters to the Cable Television Commission.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion second, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Item 4, did you say we want to table this? Is that right,
Yes.
Dave?
Yes. We've got our final bills in, and now that we've got everything, we actually find that Harkins owes us $5,361 net, so we sent them a letter. But they, before we take any action accepting that, we'd like to settle with that. We still have some leverage with liquidated damages that we could assess. We could also go after the performance bond. So I think we can probably work it out, but it might be better to wait till your next meeting.
Need a motion to table it till the next meeting, and
I'll make a motion to table resolution 2-14, accepting public and releasing wastewater treatment plant.
got a motion second, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Item 5, consider appeal from Richard Ryan on stormwater fee paid on 608 Pine Street. And what's the legal address on that?
608.
Is it 608 Pine?
It's my understanding he wants to withdraw that appeal at this juncture, so.
We've been dealing with this request for the past 2 or 3 months, maybe even longer.
Wasn't the way to address it is the petition, planning and zoning commission?
He could.
He could, but with the particular issue that he was looking at, it says specifically to file a letter of appeal with the city council.
I mean, he was looking to have his stormwater bill and his taxes, he wanted to be assessed as residential property, which is a lower rate. But it's, it doesn't have a kitchen, it doesn't have a bathroom, it's been used as commercial property, it's classified as, by the assessor as commercial, which is what we base our stormwater bills on.
It's
But-
still in a residential zoning district.
Right. Well, I mean, his lot is somewhat split. There's a little bit of it commercial, but the building's actually located on the portion that's residential. So whether a building permit a number of years ago should have been issued for commercial, I mean, it's questionable that that's water under the bridge. Right now, it's really the way it was designed and built, it's only suitable for some type of commercial use. But then they split the lot, so parking could be an issue and other things, so. It's kind of a can of worms, but at this juncture, I think he is satisfied. If not, it'll come back to you.
But the building permit was issued for the commercial building, so I mean, that's, he bought the building, should have been in due diligence to check what it was listed as, I mean.
Assess that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to item 6, order to adopt a proposed budget for FY 2015 and set the date for public hearing for March 12, 2014 at 5:30 p.m. So basically, we're just going to,
So you approve the budget as submitted, which I think is the back is $9,373,546. We talked about that would generate a 32-cent tax increase or 1.8%. So at this juncture, what you do is you give your tentative, you approve it, you adopt it, you set the hearing date, you hold a public hearing, and then you can adjust it. You can lower it, you can't increase it at this juncture. So once you set that, that basically sets the limit on the budget. After the hearing, you can make modifications in terms of lowering
Everybody happy with the budget? Or any questions about it? I know we've had a couple meetings somewhere and some weren't there. Do we have a meeting or anything? Those numbers or up to the council? I mean, that's, at the last meeting, there was 3 guys gone, Chris is gone, Lori's gone. So, I mean, if you guys want another quick meeting, we have another quick one and go over numbers. It's up to you guys.
Did you feel like we cut our discussion short the other night?
As far as I know, I haven't had anybody come say, I'd like to talk about this issue, or here's a question. I mean, if there are any, we can meet as a group, I can meet with anybody individually.
I'll make a motion to adopt the proposed budget for fiscal year 2015 and set the date for public hearing for March 12th at 5:30 PM.
I'll second.
Got a motion second, other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Passed. Item 7, order to change the date of the second regular meeting in March 2014 from March 19th to March 12th. Is there going to be a clause in between?
We'll have 2 meetings in a row.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
This is to meet the state filing deadline.
Yes.
If we need some, we can always have another meeting the 19th.
Okay, so far, right now, we won't have one.
I'll make a motion that we change the date of the second regular meeting in March 2014 from March 19th to March 12th.
Second. Got a motion second, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting date then changed to March 12th and March 19th. So that'd be the first and second Wednesday in March. Item number 8 is administrative report.
Okay, I've been in discussions with CGI Communications, and to add a video feature to the cities, the Chambers and Cadco's website. What it's meant to do is to kind of showcase Atlantic to visitors and to help attract and retain residents and businesses. This is through the National League of Cities, so they're going to do about a dozen or so of these in Iowa. It's at no charge to the city. They'll do 2 or 3 one-minute video clips. They'll have interviews like with elected officials and trying to showcase what we think are, education and housing and other recreational opportunities what we feel are the highlights of the community. You get these things. I checked with the National League of Cities and on their website to make sure it was, valid, and also with the Better Business Bureau to see it both seem to rate this pretty highly. So they're supposed to be contacting me next week to set up a meeting to talk about this and see what's required. Now, there are things, I think services, they can set up podcasts and do things to reach a broader audience if we want, but that would be an additional charge. So we'll take a look at first what we can get for free. I know the Chamber had already talked about maybe doing some videos and things that could be used to help market the city, so we might piggyback together and actually have a little bit more done if we feel like there's a wider audience that we can reach. But anyway, it looks like a good opportunity. They do offer, like I said, additional services like tour books or SmartCast podcasts, those kinds of things. Let's see, the other thing at our meeting on the 11th, I was asked to look at the cable TV franchise agreement that the cable TV committee oversees. That was adopted in 2002. I pulled that out. The agreement expires October 1st, 2017. In reading that, we were actually eligible to receive our 4th and final grant from them for equipment of $5,000 back in January 31st, 2012. Looking back, that was never applied for or received. We do have to certify that 40% of the franchise revenues went towards the cable TV. So we're putting that together. We'll send the request. Though it's late, I don't know if there'll be any problem in terms of collecting that because it's not in a timely fashion, but hopefully we can get that and have that for replacing equipment because that at some point in time down the road will be needed. I also got a letter from the Economic Development Authority for Iowa, if they will agree to amend our community development block grant. If you remember when Jeremy Mittens reported, or not Jeremy, I'm sorry, their housing specialist, that they didn't think they could get an extension now, but actually we're able to get an extension on our grant, which is for rehabilitating 13 homes. They're going to extend the deadline to October 1st, 2014, and also allow us to expand from 13 to 16 homes. So that's good news. Just need to make sure we get it done. So, Press on my email, we scheduled the board and commission training for April 9th. We're going to invite all the different boards and commissions to participate. We're asking, I've heard from a couple of council members, we're trying to get a count by the end of next week, so once you know, email me or let me know, call. We need a number just also for dinner, and depending upon the number, we'd like to have it in the council chambers, but if we get too many people, we'll have to find a larger venue. So, that's all I've got.
Doug, what was the group that contacted you about publicity? What was the name of that group?
Yeah, that group is called CGI Communications, Inc.
What are they out of?
Before I look it up, I don't remember off the top of my head, right? CGI, Business Bureau, here it says Rochester, New York is their home office.
The company contact us about,
Remember a few years ago we had one, but it really became, looked like you were gonna get something for free, it was gonna cost you quite a bit. That was a different group.
yeah.
I mean, it sounded good. It kind of sounded like this, but this one here actually is sponsored by the National League of Cities. It's right on their website. And also check the Better Business Bureau. So at least it looks like it's worth exploring. Maybe we'll find out some fine print or something that makes us not interested, but
Okay.
the other thing, maybe after the meeting, we're going to be looking at ordering chairs for the councilman. I got a couple to look at. I kind of like to get an idea what you'd like to think about for the audience, what kind of seating. So if anybody has an interest, maybe we can spend a couple minutes after the meeting and look at hopefully give me some direction.
Any other questions for Doug? Okay, on our mayor's report, basically, I was going to discuss about Dave Reedman. I found out last week that he got extended on that grant, which is good. I think I'm going to set down a letter, I'll do all the council people a letter, my priority, I'd like to see done in the next 3 or 4 years. This is what I want to get done, and have you guys look at it, prioritize that she won't, I won't put any order, just group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the other thing to add to it, we're all working kind of the same. We're looking that way, going to it, if there's any suggestions, we can work it out that way. I'd like to have Kathy get a personnel meeting set up, personnel finance meeting set up for the next couple of weeks, so we can discuss some things. And that's all I got. Guess no coming in tomorrow morning. We don't know if it's 2 to 4, 1 to 3, 5 to 6. Bring your umbrellas. It's going to be something. And then cold next week, so keep them ice. Keep those walk shovels. I think I brought to John's attention. You know, the street department know about a branch hanging 7th and Lynn, right up there, right with that big tree right in front. And so it's just hanging by, not very good. So, other than that, go to committee reports, and we'll start with Chris.
New Orleans is cold.
Texas is warm. Kathy.
Oh, that was fast. Okay, I have Parks and Rec on Monday, and they kind of touched base again on the smoking in the park thing. But for right now, they're just gonna put it on the back burner and get some more information together. That was about it on that. And then they reviewed summer programs and what the plans are for that. And that was pretty much it.
Linda.
I had cable commission several weeks ago, and still looking at possibilities of ways of having a little income besides the money that comes to us quarterly, perhaps in a few little TV ads. Some suggestions were made. A new member Kringle to the committee, and several kind of around the table, just ideas on various things. And then this morning I did a report, it was rather short, discussion on the possibility of a grant available to tear down one of the buildings there on this property. to the
All
west.
that on the old hangar?
Yeah, the old one. So that was discussed.
Okay. On cable, let me bring it up to you. What I like to see get done is, we got a lot of talent in Atlantic, a lot of older talent, and I hear a lot about rodeos and stuff around like that. I don't watch the cable channel, but we got the old guy, excuse me, what's his name? Newspaper. Phil Chen. We got him around. We need to do some interviews with guys like that. I mean, we've had some very old people pass away, had a lot of interesting stuff going on. We should start running kind of series, we got some World War II vets still out there, still alive. It'd be nice if we start running that stuff and get some personal interviews on. I think it'll probably pick up everybody's morale, but get some stuff on tape and have it down, so 15, 20 years down the road, we can pull it back out and look at it, here's what it was, and update things. So, if you could pass that on, I really appreciate it. Lori?
I had the CPC Commission on February 6th, very quick meeting, 20 minutes. Basically talked about the historic routes, 6 signs. They went ahead and ordered some of them. Approved some bills, talked about the budget. And this meeting is March 6th.
Okay. How was your weather then? Warm?
Ours is very warm.
Okay. Dana?
My weather was cold. The 13th, I had Cadco, and they talked about, they had a offer on some property. There's 16 acres south of Glacier Road, south of the ethanol site. They've had an offer on. They turned the offer down. It just wasn't what they were looking for. There was not a lot of transparency as to what would happen to it, and they just felt that being a site with railroad access, they wanted to know a little more about what was going on there, because they have put a lot into that to develop that area. The PCS building's come along good. They also talked about working with a couple guys on the Whitney Inn and possibly refurbishing it. Griswold's going to be having a grocery store open 1st of March, and they also have a new city manager. I had library on the 10th, and she has applied for a community foundation grant for $1,500 for a defibrillator, and their IT support has notified him that he's going to be retiring, so they're in the process of looking for somebody that can help him out there. At AMU on the 17th, and they discussed some of their reserve balances. Some of those are going to get depleted when the Walter Scott plant is going to be having some work done on the boilers. So that's some of the expenses that they've been talking about. They also had an asbestos study, and they do have the tile in the office building downstairs. It's got asbestos. If it's left alone and waxed, it's fine. In the future, it may have to be removed. They have their ongoing safety committee, and they've also got they've installed the new AMI meters for all the rural 3-phase customers, and over the next couple weeks, they're going to be installing another 600 advanced meters on the east side of Atlantic. Other than that, that's it.
Thanks, Dana. Bob?
I attended the Chamber of Commerce meeting the 10th of February. And the only thing I really have to report on is the programs director, Erica Gobig, has resigned. And they've already hired a new director by the name of Rita Weimer from Corning, not Wyoda, Rita Weimer from
Say that, Beth.
Wita Weimer from Corning, and she will take her new position soon, I think.
And she's worked with Chamber Reporting before, I think. She has
Some
experience.
background.
Thanks, Bob.
I just remembered that.
Okay.
This is what I get for not reading that. That they're planning to have portion pits at by fair time, hopefully, thanks to Trevor Frederickson Foundation and the Orstack family, that will be paying for all of it.
Oh, good.
And, no, I think that was it.
Okay, thank you. If you remember, just kind of pop it back in. Okay, item number 11, clerk reports.
Bills total $53,814.93.
Motion to pay the bills.
Got a motion?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Paid bills. And financial reports.
Tables the clerk, treasurer, budget, general ledger, airport, fire department, reports for January.
And Kathy read them all, just boom, she's a speeder.
It makes sense then, once they on the table. I'll make a motion to approve the financial report.
Second.
Got a motion second, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Passed. Item 12, public forum. Got anybody from the council first? There's been none on the agenda. Dana?
Just looking to get maybe some clarification a little bit. The chamber came and asked for permission to put up the Route 6 signs, correct?
Purchase them, I think, wasn't it? Purchase them.
But previous to that, we asked for permission to put them up. And I thought the question was asked, what is this going to cost us?
I think it was my understanding that it wasn't going to cost the city anything, they just wanted permission, but I think they also needed
That's,
the Department of Transportation.
that was my understanding. And so, to me, it's like I'm standing at the front door saying this isn't going to cost me anything. And then I go to the back door and ask for the money.
From the CPC.
Correct. I mean, we fund the CPC.
Good
That's
question.
just something to think about, I guess.
I remember coming to the council meeting asking if we could put them up. I can't
I'm
remember.
pretty sure, I don't remember who asked the question, but I thought the question was asked, what is this gonna cost us? And it was it. It was no cost.
Who made the request to the CPC? Was it a different organization?
They paid $680.
Well, when Megan was here, she was representing the tourism. She wasn't representing the chamber, she was representing the tourism.
Well, I understand, but
Yeah, I'm just thinking, I'm just trying to remember what happened. So, but then the tourism group turned around and did ask for the CPC.
well, I don't know for sure who it was. But obviously, the CPC paid 600 and some odd dollars for these signs, which I was under the understanding it was gonna be at no cost, that's why we,
Yeah, that's fine.
and it's just something to think about, I
Okay,
guess.
we'll check on that. I know. Anything from the public out there? Hearing none, go to item number 13.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?